morning. Good Friday morning to everyone. This is Brenda Perryman, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR, Comcast 91 in Detroit, and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. Have a great show for you this morning. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful week. We've been hearing about so many bad things. Let's hopefully we could stay positive as we can, because sometimes the world kind of beats us down a little bit. I'd like to introduce my first guest to you. She does travel, she's an entrepreneur, and she has a lot of good tips for everybody. And also, I want you to stay tuned for Table Talk. We're going to be talking about some of the same things Colette talked about, and I have all men on the panel, so you'll like that. So, this is V. Gail Simpson. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so excited to be here
I'm
and excited to see you.
You too, you too, you too. And you're doing so much right now. You're doing a lot of things. But I want to get some background so my audience knows who you are and what's happening. So are you a native Detroiter or Michigander?
Actually, I am not. I am a transplant from the great state of North Carolina.
North Carolina. Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's
yes,
great.
yes. But I've been here for so long that Michigan is really my second home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after you came, did you come from North Carolina as an adult?
As an adult, I came here to work the graduate program at the University of Michigan, and I never left. Can you
Oh.
imagine that?
Okay, the graduate program, what, teaching?
In social work.
Oh, you're a social worker?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so is my older brother.
Oh.
Yeah, he did his craft in New York City.
Oh,
So-
yes. Well, I know he was well skilled.
Oh, very, 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 because it had to, he's done so many different jobs and was there. I mean, he left Claflin. He graduated from Claflin and went straight to New York and have been working there since. But so you came here and you were in the College of Social Work.
At the University of Michigan, and after completing that, it was always my intent to go back to North Carolina, but somehow I didn't quite make it. I was offered many opportunities here, and it was right in line with my career goals as a social worker. I wanted to work with children and families in the area of mental health and substance use disorders, and so that's kept me here. However, since all of that has taken place, Brenda, I have retired.
I don't know. You say retired,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know about that. So tell me, after you retired, and you retired from what?
I retired from social work. I actually still am an adjunct professor at Wayne County Community College District, where I've been probably the last 18 years now. But after retiring from my 9 to 5 job, that social work job career, and you never retire because somebody's always calling and needing something from you as a social worker. But I was presented with an opportunity dealing with travel. And that's always been a goal and a fantasy of mine. Let's do more travel because I like to go out and explore and experience the world.
Right. Do you feel that some people are afraid to travel?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have encountered, since being in this business especially, there are just some people who are afraid to get out of that comfort zone and experience what's outside of.
Sometimes a comfort zone can be uncomfortable, but it's familiar, so people stay right in it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, right. Well, okay, we're going to get into travel, but we're going to get into entrepreneurship too, because you are an entrepreneur.
I am an entrepreneur.
Do you have people in your family who were
Oh,
entrepreneurs?
there is history. One of my side careers and hobbies is genealogy. So I've gone all the way back to look at those entrepreneurs because I have it in the blood. I have a great great grandfather who started a business. I have great great uncles, and these go back into the 1800s and early
Wow.
1900s. And so I've always had the spirit of entrepreneurs circling around the family, and cousins even today are in business.
Right, right. I don't know. Do you think that's an offshoot from the South? Because my mother, even though she was a nurse and all that, she always did a bunch of side things. And even when I taught, I was a travel agent at one point. I mean, and I've also, traveled performing and my poetry and stuff and doing different directing shows in New York and everything. So, do you think, I wonder if that's an offshoot? And then my brother, the one I said was from South Carolina, he actually grew up in South Carolina. He not only was a social worker in New York, he was a licensed locksmith. He
Okay.
also did put rails on the window. I mean, just he had an after hours club. He
Yeah,
had about
yes,
five
yes.
things. So I wonder sometimes is entrepreneurship kind of rooted in the South where we had to do so many things
To just survive.
to
just
survive.
There may be some validity to that. I have not researched it, but that's something to take a look at.
Yeah, we should think about
Yeah.
that because there are a lot of people who juggle a lot of things, and that's just it. Like you say, it's in the blood.
Yeah, it's in the blood, and throughout my social work career, always had a 9 to 5 because that was kind of the expectation that you work a day job 9 to 5. But I always had something else on the side. I had a private practice on the side for many many years, and then at one point I really left the workforce and started my own training and organizational development business.
Oh, okay. Gee, a lot.
Yes.
So, so you did other things. You started a businesses.
A brick and mortar business.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, what should a person do? Say one of my viewers out there, they have a good idea, or either they bake the best cakes, or everybody has something.
Yes, yes.
What's the first thing to do when you're getting ready to try to start a business?
The first thing you want to do is look at a business plan. I had the good fortune of being a trainer facilitator at Tech Town for several years.
Oh, really?
I was trained through the Kauffman Foundation to train folks who wanted to become entrepreneurs, who had business ideas. And so I saw a lot of different things come through there. But the first thing you want to do is look at a business plan, and because some people have hobbies and they're really not businesses, and so you want to look at a business plan and a marketing plan. How are you going to make this work, and how are you going to fund it? Is it going to be for profit, or is it going to be nonprofit?
Well, explain a business plan.
Oh, a business plan really just lays out what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want to do, how you want to go about doing it. Is it viable? Is it marketable? Can you get financing? Are people going to buy your products and or your services? And you want to lay that out in a format that guides you through developing and getting started.
Okay, all right. So they have to have that format. They have to know who they're marketing their business to. I'll go back to the business of cakes again.
Okay.
Everybody, all my friends say I make
Yes.
the best pound cake. Not me. I've never made a pound cake. Apple pies, but never a pound
I'll have to
cake.
give you my mother's pound cake recipe.
I don't know. I'd rather you make it and I eat it. But anyway, all right. People say they're the greatest. In fact, they say everything I bake is the greatest. So, should I start a business like out of my home, at first?
Well, Brenda, that's really where a lot of businesses start, right out of your home. And it's going back to your pound cake idea, you start baking cakes and selling cakes, and you do that by referral, word of mouth. You tell
Right.
your friends, find out you're making these cakes. Oh, I want to, get a cake.
Right.
And so pretty soon you'll find that you're making more cakes than your house can handle. And then
Right.
that's when you begin to look at, well, maybe this is a viable business, and you begin to look at some outsourcing to help you produce those
Right.
cakes.
And like, aren't there these kitchens that have these big
Yes,
industrial
yes,
kitchens?
Yes.
Okay, and you could go to those too. Okay.
And you factor that kind of thing into your business plan as you're putting that together.
And the rental into your price, into the price that you
Absolutely,
charge.
absolutely. Because you want to look at how much is it going to cost me to make the cake, and then all of the other kinds of supplies and vendors and whatnot that you'll need. Is it going to cost me more to make this cake than it's worth? But those kinds of things that you're putting together, that business plan, you begin to look at your financials.
Right, right. Well, that's important. That's important.
Yes.
Now, should people automatically think they're going to make a bunch of money the first year?
No. Mm-mm. They would have to have a brilliant idea that everybody wants to buy in order to do that.
Right.
Uh, but starting out, you got to get through that first year hurdle in terms of learning the business that you're now laying out for someone else to, purchase from. And you got to put in the work. It's work.
Day and night,
Day
a lot
and
of
night.
times. Yes.
Mhm.
I know I have a few friends who started their business. They worked all day, all night, always were working on the business and doing very well
Absolutely.
now. Very,
Absolutely.
very well. So, so the business plan, I just want to just kind of go over this real quick. The business plan, who they're going to market it to and so forth and so on, and then start. It's good to start small.
Yes. You don't want to start bigger than you can handle. One of my favorite shows is Shark Tank. I live for Shark Tank, and one of my assignments for my students was always to watch Shark Tank and what happened when they would go into those sharks to present their plan, because it's got to be polished. And you got to know what you're talking about when it comes to the financial piece, because they're not just going to invest in a hobby. They want to see, really, is this serious? Is this viable? Will people buy this?
Right, right. And because people are trying to get money. That is interesting. And that, too, that leads me to investors. Can you get, should you ask for investors? Or
Part of it depends on the type of business that you are putting together. There are funders out there who are eager to fund, to invest. Warren Buffett always said have more than one income stream, and he's very right about that. And so you're going to run into funders out there who are willing to invest because they want to expand their streams of income.
Okay, so that's why they'd be interested. I've watched Shark Tank a few times. I interviewed Damon John. Isn't that his name?
Yes, Damon
Yeah,
John.
I interviewed him before, how he started in his mother's
Mother's basement. Absolutely.
Right, right. Well, let's talk a little about travel. What are you finding to be the most popular places that people want to go now?
From Michigan, they want to go to the Caribbean. They can go
Really?
yes, they want to go to the Southern Caribbean. They want to go to the Western Caribbean. They want to go to South America, any place where it's warm and I can lay out on the beaches where everybody wants to go. And, Hawaii is on the map in terms of weddings and honeymoons. But a lot of the millennials want to go to the Caribbean. They either want to get on that cruise ship or they want to stay in an elaborate resort.
Wow. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Because a lot of course, the cruises I've been on have been in the Caribbean. But then people take these Alaska cruises too.
That's on my bucket list for next year, is to do that Alaskan cruise, and also I want to add in the land part of that. I want to get on that train and go inland Alaska.
Yeah, a lot of. I don't know if I want to go inland Alaska.
I want to see the bears and all the wild animals. I'm a nature lover. I don't want to get too close, but close enough to see.
I'm a nature like it. I'm not a nature lover. I'm a nature. I like nature. It's cool, but we could go through. I say, hey trees, hey bears.
Oh, you're no fun.
I have fun on. I do have fun on trips. I've traveled quite a bit. A lot of it's been on America. Well, and then I have gone outside of America. So I do keep my passport ready. I went to where did I go? Barbados. This summer, and that was cool. But every time I get in an island, then they're driving on the other side of the street.
Oh.
And I'm kind of like this in the and the steering wheel's over there. I said, I could never make it.
Yes,
I could
yes.
never make it because my mind would be
On the other side of the street.
used to have it. Do you do ticketing too?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, say for example, I don't want to go on a necessary cruise or sightseeing. I just want a ticket.
And guess what? You can go to my site, my portal.
Uh-huh.
You just want a ticket, an airline ticket.
Yeah.
You can go right on my portal and locate the ticket that you want and make your purchase right there. Or you can call me up and say, Gail, I need a ticket to Miami Beach. Can you help me out? And because you're my special friend, I'm going to help you out. And as a travel agent, that's what I do.
Okay, okay. Because, say for example, I want to go to Pennsylvania. And what's the best time? How far out should I try to book a ticket? Because ticket prices are all over the
Yeah,
place
they
right
are.
now.
Well, the norm is 3 weeks out. Is if you're 3 weeks out, you'll get a better pricing. But the airlines are not doing any special favors for anybody these days. The domestic. Now, if you're flying outside of the country, that's different. You get better rates because you're going to get a package.
Well, I remember, I've gone to New York quite a bit, and I remember a 199 round trip.
Yes, yes.
I don't know what it is now. I haven't been in a few years, but I would, and then like Chicago, I'll just take the train
Yes,
over
yes,
there. Everybody likes
And
that
we'll
route.
book you on Amtrak.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, you've experienced it. It's really not a bad ride to go to
No,
Chicago.
no, it isn't. It's a nice ride. It's a smooth ride. The stops are quick and so forth. Now, does that help? Well, you being a travel agent, do you get any special discounts on any trips?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One of the reasons I got into this business, and I own a travel business, not just being a travel agent, but a business. And one of the things that attracted me to this business was that not only could I earn money, but I could take my own trips at a less cost. And I have inside information about the various vendors and pricing. And that's the exciting part about this business is that I can pick up and go on a familiarization trip.
Fam trip.
Absolutely. And sometimes you get those free, and sometimes it's a nominal fee.
Nominal fee.
The celebrity cruise ship I want to go on, that's one of those high price, high end, but with a fam, I will be able to afford to do that.
Oh, okay, I see. And people, because we talked about this on the phone, say if I have a viewer who's interested in being a travel agent, what would be the advice that you would give them?
I would say, first of all, contact me and let me give you the inside scoop. Once you get into this business, you have your own agency. You have access to all the vendors, all the necessary training. There's a wealth of training to learn this business. And I have been I'm a junkie when it comes to learning. And so I've done a lot of webinars and seminars, and I've gone to, as a matter of fact, this spring I went down to Orlando because I wanted to learn those ships. It's one thing to go online and learn it, but I wanted to walk the ships and to learn all about the different moving parts on that ship.
Right, right, absolutely. Yeah, because cruises, I like cruises personally. I really like it because I know what I'm going to get to eat. Well, in some cruises, I've taken Italian registry ships before, and where they do offer Italian fare, but they offer regular, traditional fare
American
too.
cuisine.
And then you get to go to several islands as opposed to going to one and staying there for 5 days or 7 days. I do like that. Now, another advantage to going to different islands, you may see one where you want to spend some time.
Right,
Isn't
absolutely,
that right?
absolutely. And cruising is absolutely a good way to, if you're wherever you're selling to, whether it be the Caribbean or whether it's in Europe, it's one of the best ways to see the world, because you get to stop at different ports, and you get to mingle with the people on those islands or wherever it might be, and take part in the culture. So that's exciting. And it may be that you want to go back and live there someday. Who knows? Because you fell in love with one of the places that you had the opportunity to visit.
Wow, lived there.
Never thought about that
Never
one.
thought about that one. Never thought about that. And another thing that I noticed, because there was, I forgot how many years it had been, first time I went there was in 78, but I didn't go back again till 2000, and that was Montego Bay. And there were Jamaica, and there were a lot of changes between 78
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and 2000. And in 78, there wasn't, Montego Bay has, well, and Jamaica, some parts, Kingston and so forth. You got to be kind of careful.
Absolutely. And I'm really careful. I've had a lot of requests this spring and summer for folks wanting to go to Jamaica, Ochos Rios, Negro, and Montego Bay. And I make sure that I'm putting people in the appropriate resorts.
Right, right.
And, security. I use, our resorts are all certified and approved. We're not just sending people off on a venture,
Right.
but we know exactly where they're going to go. And then, I ask my customers, let's make sure that you're following the rules of the country that you're in,
Right, right.
so that you can prevent a lot of things from occurring.
Right, right. Now, Ochos Rios, that isn't as precarious, though, is it?
It is not. It's not. It's more laid
And
back
Negril?
than yeah. Those are more laid back than
That's what
Montego, because
yeah.
everybody wants to go to Montego and party.
Well,
Not to say that you can't party in the other cities, but
no, last time I was there, I went to one big party. It was one big party.
never ending.
Well, yeah, it was, Tom Jordan was getting married, that thing. That was, me and his then wife, we were on tour together. Through the country, and it was just one big party.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Jordan knows how to throw a party. But I also love Jamaica. It's so green,
Yes,
it's so
yes.
nice, and so forth. Now, in the winter, let's talk about high season and low season.
Most folks like to go in the spring and late fall. Summertime is a good time to go. The weather is a little different. It's hotter in the summer than in the spring and fall. Now, Michigan, I'm talking Michiganders, because now I do business all over the country.
Right.
But Michiganders like once that snow hits the ground, they're ready to go.
They're ready to go, and they pay a little more.
Yes.
That's
Summer
high
is more
season.
off season in
Right,
summertime.
right. And I don't mind going off season. But it was funny because we didn't go to Barbados till June, and it was just as hot here as
Yes,
it was
absolutely.
in Barbados. It was so. Yeah, it was no distraction that way. But going in the wintertime, to a hot island is good also.
And you gotta come back to this cold weather, right?
Right. Yeah, you got to come back, but at least you've been somewhere.
Yes.
And so forth. So, what would you say right now? Do we travel more in the fall or summer or what?
Since I've been in this business, I see folks are traveling year round.
Yeah.
I've got requests to already into 2019 and 2020. People are wanting to go all year round from January to December. And then there are
that's
some
good.
places are better to go certain times of the year. For example, I'm putting together a Holy Land trip.
Oh,
And
wow.
we're going to do that in the fall next year, because that's a better time to go.
How many days is that?
This is the one that I have is a 10-day trip.
Wow. And where would they go specifically?
We're going to go to, well, let me just say, we're going to go to every place that Jesus has touched. And one of the exciting things is that I'm planning to be rebaptized in the Jordan River.
Oh my God.
That's exciting for me. That's exciting.
Oh, that is
Yes,
exciting.
yes, yes.
Wow. And
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
so spiritual too.
Yes,
And I
yes.
mean, just going knowing
Mhm,
that he
mhm,
had been
mhm,
there,
mhm, mhm,
that is really,
mhm.
really exciting.
Yes, yes.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh.
I'm so looking forward to that. That is.
Now, if I have a group, say I have a group of friends that I want to go with, we want to go, say, take a trip to, um, where could we go? I want a nice group trip. Oh no, no, I'll do this group trip. It's kind of close. Uh, Toronto.
Oh, okay.
So what would I do if I'm putting my trip together
Okay.
so that I could maybe have a free trip?
Well, you just called me up and said, Gail, I have a group of how many you ever you have, and we
Right.
want to go to Toronto. And so I'm going to ask you what kinds of things you're interested in doing while you're in Toronto, because I want to make sure when I put that package together that it's going to be for Brenda Perryman and it's going to be all over the top.
Oh wow, wow! I love the way she does this. I love it. So yeah, I have when I used to do some travel, I did put a trip together for 100
Mm-hmm.
on the
Mm-hmm.
train to
Mm-hmm.
Toronto during Caravana.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, which
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was at the same hotel. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
did
Mm-hmm.
was kind of on their own. They had a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I know exactly what you're talking about. But say for a family going, we do family reunions like
Hmm.
crazy.
I'm doing my family reunion next year as well. We have not settled on yet where we're going. I have a split vote. I asked, do you want to do a cruise or do you want to do a land resort? The older folks want to do a land resort. The young folks want to do a cruise. I think the cruise will probably win
Went
out.
out.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So we're going to do that next year. But family reunions are really popular in terms of cruising.
Really?
Because you get on that cruise ship. Remember now, you get to go to more than one island, so they're having that whole experience. And then we do things on the ship uh, to
Yeah, that's
to
what I was
to
going to ask
celebrate.
about.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, could you get it so that the crew, they have on cruises, you have a first seating
Mm-hmm.
and a second
Mm-hmm.
seating. Can,
We get when I set those family reunions up, we get it set up so that everybody in that family is seated together,
oh, that's
and then the
great.
captain, of course, comes around and
Right.
joins us for dinner.
Right.
Hmm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. And if anyone has any questions about trips or anything, you can call us at 313-868-0342, 868-0351, or 868-4336. We have a few minutes left.
Hmm.
So that sounds great.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing I wanted to just mention on the business side, in terms of entrepreneurship, uh, my goal is to introduce travel as a business to
Oh,
women, anybody, but more specifically women who
why?
are needing some extra income, who are wanting to be at home with their children, and this really affords them the
The
opportunity.
flexibility
Yes,
too.
yes, yes. There's a home-based business, and everything is done on the computer and telephone. You need computer, telephone, and one of those, your smartphones.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The smartphone so you can do money.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Money, you hear that, everybody? No, I like I said, I did it. I got involved in travel like in late '77 because I was taking my students on a senior
Mm-hmm.
trip, and I had
Mm-hmm.
about 100 of them,
Yes.
and I just wanted to know about
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
and I started learning a lot. And then there was a man, Earl. Golly, Earl. He was he had an office down on Woodward, and he gave little tutorials and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I learned a lot, and then I ended up being an outside agent for
Mm-hmm.
this agency in
Mm-hmm.
Southfield. It was just fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it very
you know
much.
what? I'm having so much fun. This is a fascinating business. Who would ever thought that Gail Simpson would be owning a travel business? Not me. I retired. I was going to continue to teach, and I love teaching. and I was going to just travel the world, and I was going to spend some time in the South in the winter time, and come back here in the spring of the year when the snow melts. But I am having so much fun with this, and the other joy is helping other people do the same thing.
Right. And well, how would they find out more about it? Would they talk to you?
Yeah, sure. Just
What's
give
your
me a call.
What's your number?
My number is 248-320-5886. They can call me any day, anytime, except after 9 o'clock at night. As I tell my students, don't call me after 9 o'clock at night, but anytime. I'm an early riser. And because I'm home based, I'm flexible, so they can reach me at 248-320-5886.
Yeah, I used to love that. I would put together all kind of trips, and also I found out too, and this may be something that people might be interested in. I did find out about a lady called me. She wanted to go to a spa, and she wanted to go out west. So I had to put on my research
Yes,
cap
yes.
about that. But you still do things like
Oh, yeah,
that too.
absolutely, absolutely. And as you mentioned, doing the research, that's one of the great pleasures that I have, because I like to read and learn about different places. I have a group that wants to go to the Maldives Islands. Now, I know that the Maldives Islands are in the Indian Ocean, but I've never sent anybody there. So I have been doing my research for this group, because they all want to go when they celebrate their 60th birthdays.
Okay.
And so I've been working to put that together and finding some reasonable resorts, because there are a lot of islands out there in the ocean.
Well, this is just great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great. Entrepreneurship, be your own boss,
Yes.
make your hours, depending. This lady is a wealth of information about this. So this is V. Gail Simpson. That number, once again, is 248-320-5886. And I'd like to thank you for coming on and give us this bit of knowledge.
Thank you,
This
thank
is
you.
very important. So we'll be back in just a moment with Forrest Hudson. He's in this new play that's coming out, and we'll talk about it because it deals with mental illness. I am back. I am back. And remember, we have table talk right after this, and we'll be talking about different things. Of course, we're going to be talking about the ad with Kaepernick, and was it positive or negative? Well, I liked it. But anyway, I have with me one of the stars of the new play, Praying Wolves Pray. This is Forrest Hudson. Good morning, Forrest.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm blessed to be here. Really happy, just excited about the play, and just everything in general. Doing great.
Okay. Well, let's get a little background. Well, no, I need to tell the audience this is your first play, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
What? Now you grew up where?
I grew up in Southwest Detroit, Delray. Yeah. River Rouge. Yeah.
The Rouge.
Yes.
The Rouge. Right,
yeah.
right, absolutely. And Forrest, what made you decide to get into acting?
Oh, wow. It happened by accident, Miss Perryman. The Detroit Repertory Theater, they have these actors workshops, and I attended one back in 2011, and it was just to do something, just to have fun, to see what it was about. And then I left it alone for a while, and then they sent me an email saying that they were having another one. So I went and did that, and I got better. I got more comfortable. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't as nervous, and I got used to practicing and going over lines and memorizing them and certain acting techniques, and and I got better at it. And then they had another one just this past spring, and I did that one, and I really did good in that one, and I guess the instructors were impressed with me, and I got better performing the showcases, and then one of the instructors sent me an email about an audition at the Detroit Rep for several plays, and I got noticed there. And then a gentleman called Emilio
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, he asked me to submit a resume and a headshot for a database, the Black and Brown Theater.
Yes.
Yes, and uh, uh, the director of our play, Jasmine Parker, saw my resume and headshot on the database, and this is all took place in like 2 weeks. So I'm still in a state of shock, and I'm just excited, and I want to do really well.
Right, right, right. Well, one thing about it, you're on time, you come to rehearsals, you're willing to learn, and so forth. Um, In fact, I have a gentleman in the studio right now over there, Darnell, who actually I was his high school drama teacher,
Oh,
and
okay.
he and I have worked together on some shows since I've been retired. He still has acting chops, and I'm waiting for him to break out and get big, just like you. Now,
Thank you.
let's talk a little about the play. I'll tell you, the play Praying Wolves Pray. And when I say praying, that's Preying. Praying Wolves Pray was written by Jasmine Parker. And it deals with a family who has one family member who is schizophrenic. But in our community, many times, we don't like to deal with people with mental illness, especially within our family. There's a certain stigma associated with that.
And I know, I know, yeah, yeah. I've had friends I've grown up with that dealt with issues like such as mental illness and drug addiction, and yeah, it's terrible. It takes a toll on our families, our communities. It's something that can be dealt with, can be treated, and we just have to support one another. And it's a serious issue, but there are solutions.
Yeah, there are solutions, but a lot of times people don't go to, get help.
Right.
And the family does not encourage the help. They stand by the sidelines and watch this person break down, get worse, and so forth.
I know. I just recently lost a friend who committed suicide due to depression, and it was just such a shock. No one saw it coming, and it really hurt. And he was like one of my favorite people in the whole world, and I had no idea, and it was right around the holidays.
But did you know this person was troubled?
No, not exactly. I felt that he might have, been going through some things, but nothing that deep, nothing that serious.
Are men sometimes more hesitant to talk to a man about that?
Yeah, I would think so. Because our masculinity, we don't want to appear as weak or soft. And when you think about mental illness, it's like, oh, you know, in our community, you don't ever want to be seen as having something wrong with you. And it's embarrassing. You feel embarrassed, but there's nothing to be embarrassed about because we all go through things. We all have issues, and sometimes it's even important to get it out. To seek help, to seek support, whether it be mental illness, alcoholism, or drug addiction, anything like that. You have to reach out and get help. If you don't, it can only get worse.
Absolutely. Most times it does get worse, and then it's too late. And in this particular play, the gentleman who plays William McGlynn, he plays the lead character. His name is Wolf. Well, they call him Wolf. His real name is Wea. But the reason why they call him Wolf is how many of us have Indian blood within us.
Yeah.
And that's like such a real thing, And his particular tribe, like my father's tribe was Blackfoot or something like that, but his particular tribe he's descended from it was a wolf clan.
Yeah.
And so that's why people just called him Wolf. And it was in his younger days that people noticed there was something wrong, but they still didn't do anything about it. He was in the hospital at one time.
Exactly.
Now here it is many years later, his resentments and fears and his grief has compounded. It does, like you say, it doesn't get any better.
It doesn't. Not if it goes untreated. If it isn't addressed in one any shape, form, or fashion, it'll only get worse.
Well, a lot of times it could be addressed, but that person, 9 times out of 10, may not even admit to it, or take their medicine.
Yeah, I know.
And that's another thing. A lot of people don't take their medicine because they feel it makes them groggy.
Yeah,
Right.
it makes them groggy, slows them down, and they don't like feeling, they don't like feeling just, I guess, not themselves.
Not
Yeah.
themselves. They feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
They feel like they want to feel more empowered, so they don't take their medicine.
Exactly. They feel it's a form of dependence, and it probably makes them feel less of a person that they have to take this medication. So
Yeah. And I've seen some young people who definitely had some issues, and the parents weren't dealing with it. And it just made me worry about what could happen in the long run with these people. Really, it just really does. Well, the play is in 2 weeks. It's actually September 21st and 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Northwest Activity Center. And the individual tickets are only $25, and the groups of 10, the tickets are only $15 per person. If you have any questions, you could contact theplaywright.com. It's THAPLAYWRIGHT.com. Or you could call 313-970-8739. I think people will learn a lot from this play. I'm going to talk about some of the actors who are in it. We have Rosemarie Wilson, One Single Rose. She's in the play. And Rose, she plays the sister. In fact, the play opens up, well, with something kind of mystical involving you. But it also, the second scene, it's the Sherry, who Rose plays, and Carlos, who he plays the brother Carl. They're coming in from the funeral of their mother. And their mother, a lot of times, started this because she let the young man who was mentally ill, he could stay in his room. She kept him kind of in and cloistered.
Yeah. Shelter. Yeah.
Yeah, sheltered. And so being involved with him, a lot of times he just stayed to himself and so forth. And then he had a tragedy. There was a tragedy with one of his sons. So that drove him deeper into a depression. Sometimes that depression can get so that it can split you apart.
Yeah. It can just tear you up inside.
And Carlos Mays plays Carl. As I said, he's the brother. He's an unemployed songwriter who had some hits in the past. Also, we have and Sherry, as I mentioned, which is One Single Rose. She is very, very. She's protective of her brother, but she kind of creeps around. She's kind of, when he gets upset. This is Wolf, the brother who's mentally ill. When he gets upset, she just says, oh, okay, everything's fine. She's just trying to placate him, calm him down and all. But it even comes to a point where she said, it's probably bigger than us.
Exactly. He has to go. They feel they can't control it. It's beyond their control. Because when Wolf's mother passed, she kind of kept him together, kept him at bay. But upon her death, and then having to deal missing his son, he really became hard to control, and he just got worse and worse, and the family was at wit's end about what to do, and it
was a form of schizophrenia where he kind of assumes different characters
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, different characters, but it isn't like funny.
No, it isn't.
No, not
No.
it's not funny. There's humor in the play, but it's not that isn't funny.
No, it
It's
isn't.
a little more scary than anything. But you watch this man slowly have this psychotic break.
Yeah.
Now, Forrest, tell us about the character you play.
Okay. I'm Brother Jamal in the play. I'm kind of from Wolf's past. I appear in flashback scenes. And then I'm deceased as well in the play, and I'm childhood friends with the main character Wolf, and Wolf's girlfriend Patricia Hartwell, played by Lashadi Smith.
Yes.
Yes, and we are friends, and I'm Wolf's best friend, and I'm
They're Black Panthers, and something happens. We're not going to tell
No,
what
we won't
happens.
tell.
Something happens that divides up Wolf and Brother Jamal. And also we have Brandy. She's a character that comes in. But we also have
Yeah.
we have Jill, who is the daughter of Wolf
yeah.
through the years. See, we have a flashback that goes back 30 years or so when Wolf was younger. So this actor really plays this role. He really does. And when he comes out and he talks, he kind of mesmerizes you, doesn't he?
Yeah, I love watching him. I love watching him in rehearsal, and he just, it's just, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he really does play this role, and this is the first type of role he's played like that because he's usually played these romantic leads, and that's William McGlynn. He does a very, very excellent job, and we have Natasha. She was on the show, in fact, last week or week before, last week I think, and she talked about her character. She's the daughter of Wolf, and she's very, very concerned about him and about what's going to happen, and she doesn't believe initially that her Aunt Sherry and her Uncle Carl are telling her everything about the
Right,
father.
yeah.
Because the father really has this complex, and when you see the things that he does, the ways that he actually manifests his
Yeah,
behavior.
Exactly. He three different personalities almost.
Yes, and they're all very convincing. All very convincing. So it's a good play written by Jasmine Parker. I'm directing the play. I think you are going to enjoy it. I know you're going to enjoy it because I believe, don't you think that people may see a lot of themselves in that?
I absolutely. I can see myself in it. In real life. So yes.
Absolutely. And, doing the Black Panther thing, that's really interesting because it's a blast from my past. I mean, I wasn't a Panther, but, we were all mesmerized by the good things that they would do within the community and
Yeah.
so forth. So it's a play that takes place these days, but there are also several flashbacks to the past, so you get to understand things about these characters. And wow,
Yes, it's going to be a really interesting play.
it is an interesting play. It's going to be, I think, a good performance. And I appreciate you because you really have been working very hard on the show and so forth. So once again, the play is Praying Wolves Play by Jasmine Parker. You don't want to miss the performances. They're September 21st and 22nd at the Northwest Activity Center. The tickets are $25. Of course, if you have a group of 10 that you'd like to bring, it's not something that the play isn't full of cussing or anything like that. And tickets are only $15 for a person if you have a group of 10. If you have any questions, contact theplaywright.com. That's THA playwright.com, or call 313-970-8739. Thank you so much, Forrest,
Oh, my pleasure.
for coming in this morning.
Okay.
And stay tuned for Table Talk. We're going to have some interesting discussions this morning. So I'll see you in a few minutes.